introduce ourselves. So I'm Ross from the San Francisco Examiner.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Stacy with horror.com.
Ned Ehrbar from Metro Newspapers.
Molly Elfman from Screen Crave.
And Christina with
What?
Collider.
Out of wood.
I'm Chloe. It's been a really rough month.
Are you going for unemployment later on?
I
Yeah,
can't
they
talk.
haven't extended the benefits.
I can't talk about it.
So what did you guys think of the original film and the relationship that you guys have in the original? There are certain insinuations and a lot of things you could draw from it, but nothing explicit about it. Has that changed in the American version?
A little bit.
Well,
I mean, it's not explicit, but
I haven't seen the film, so he can
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, it's a little more definitive. Yeah.
It goes deeper into the story.
Well, I think it clarifies it. By the end, you see exactly what the relationship is.
What did you guys think of the original?
Actually,
I've seen parts of it, and the part that I have seen are really stunning and really, really good.
I mean, it's very
It's
human.
very well made.
Is there a temptation, and I'm not trying to hog it, but is there a temptation to avoid something like that?
This one.
Sorry, no, anyway. Is there a temptation, maybe, as much as it would seem intuitive to watch a movie like that, is there a temptation not to, just so that you're not allowing your own performance to be influenced by somebody
Well, I
else's?
didn't watch it beforehand.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Me
no,
either.
that would be like that's the death blow. You can't do that. You just can't. In fact, Matt was to everyone. I think he said to the cinematographer,
Didn't want anyone to see it.
just don't see it because you can't help it. You can't help it. It's almost like adapting a novel into a screenplay. You read the novel, you have expectations, and if you've seen something first, it's just hard to do. So I didn't.
That's how I feel about, people seeing the movie, it's like, put all the controversy aside, and just go see the film for what it is and see what you take from it.
Well, when you mention the controversy, it is because there's the diehard fans who love the original and say, hey, there's nothing wrong with the original, but the truth is that a lot of audiences will not read subtitles. Did the director talk to you at all? Did Matt talk to you about why they were remaking this and how it might be a little different?
And there is nothing wrong with the original. I mean, but that's not why you always do a remake. It's usually because you respect
love
and
it
love
so
the
much.
original. And there is something else you want to say. Something in that movie and in that book spoke to Matt. And it has to do with the relationships of these two young kids, and especially Owen. I mean, Matt saw Owen. Well, let me say, if I was 12 or 15 and I saw this movie, I would say, it's about me. I mean, they're talking to me. And I think that was something that he found so intriguing in making this film. So, the original movie is absolutely brilliant. I mean, there's no question about it. So, and I think because of its brilliance, and I said, the risk you're taking? He goes, I understand. I said, but it's something I really need to do. So,
Can you talk about the difference? I noticed I saw the trailer that they played. The special effects look a little bit more grand, possibly. Were they able to kind of expand visually on this one? Have you've seen the cut?
I haven't seen the film. I just saw what you saw. I've
Yeah,
never
me
seen
too.
it.
Do you know the special effects that you guys shot on set? I know that the first one wasn't too advanced in terms of that.
I guess it's not,
I
it's
didn't
not
think
crazy.
of it as a lot of special effects. I really didn't.
Okay.
So I don't recall. The car crash was really cool the way he conceived it. But it wasn't that. It wasn't like green screen. It was really kind of a seamless cut. It's really cool the way he.
And along with all the kills that the vampire does, it's kind of the same type thing. Most of them are real. The scene in the tunnel, I know he's going to add more crazy knocking back and forth, but other than that, nothing really, it was all real prosthetics.
Spaceship landing.
Well, that, huge drop the ball.
Chloe, how's your Comic-Con experience been and since Kick-Ass came out? And
It's been crazier. Because, during Kick-Ass, people didn't get the full thing of Kick-Ass. because that was really the first revealing to the crowd of what Kick-Ass is, and we were all sitting there on that panel, and I was probably the most nervous I've probably ever been in my life. We were like, if they don't laugh, or if they don't love it, our whole thing's dead. We're like, because this is our audience, you know? These are the people who are
Welcome to
supposed
show
to.
business.
And
So we were all like, and then now I was like, oh, I'm great. I'm just go out there and I'm gonna rock these 8,000 people. And then I go out there and I'm like, barely talk.
and have you seen a lot of hit girls around?
We're going on the floor later to do the Dark Horse signing, but I haven't seen anybody yet. I want to like dress up in a Yoda costume. It probably won't happen, but I want to dress up in a Yoda costume and I want to go onto the floor and take pictures with the head girls. They won't even know who I am. I'm like, can I take a picture with you? It's a set costume. I have the original back at home.
Have you seen a lot of people dressed as your character from The Visitor?
Actually, not here, but a lot in New York.
He has seen them from his role in Dear John. Yeah. They go, oh my God, Channing Tatum. I mean, Richard Jenkins. He looks just like him.
4 weeks of this.
Come on,
Cut.
you know. Very nice.
What does it take for a role, when you read a role, what does it take for you to say this is, because you both, in your own ways, I mean, you've done for someone your age some of the fact of the language that was in Kick-Ass and some of the most advanced roles for that. Do you look for roles that intentionally stand out, and also, or do you just look for things that interest you, and how do you pick?
I just look for roles that are something different, completely 100% different than who I am as a person, you know, and I like to go into these different places and explore all these emotions and figure out everything about a character. I mean, it's really, you know, depends on the script and, you know, what's a good character, and of course, you know, I won't go overboard with it, but, you know, I like gritty material.
And the same for you, Richard? What interests you when you read a script? What says that this is the character?
He really does it because he loves it.
I do it if I read it and respond to it. It's an emotional thing. It's not really a...
Yeah.
And I think if I can bring something to it, if I read it and say, you know, I'm not even sure what yet, but I think I can bring something. And sometimes you read it and you go, Jim Redmore could do this, but you know, really, I mean, there's actors you worked with, you go, yeah, he's the guy. But if I think I can bring something to it, and I really like it.
What have you two learned from one another from working with one another?
Not to do it again. Which is what?
I'm ashamed of myself.
No.
No, I don't know. I think I learned more from him than he has from me. I mean, there's nothing you can learn.
No,
He's
it's
like,
not true. You know, the thing is, you go in, and I've played a lot of fathers in my life. It seems that my kids are getting older and older as I go. But I'm always surprised at how good they are. I don't know why. I'm just always taken aback by how good they are. Maybe it's because they're age. You think, oh, well, I've been doing this long enough. You think I'd learn. And you know, she's goofing around and, you know, being like, and then they go action, and you almost want to stop and go, whoa. Where'd you learn how to do that?
I'll be like, you know, quoting, what's that toothpaste commercial?
Ipana or something.
Ipana.
Yeah, she
We
was
were
singing
singing the Ipana song, right? You know,
And in
from
action.
Greece, because I know it from Greece, right? And he's like, well, I seen that on TV when I was a kid, and I was like, I saw it on Greece.
that. It was like, but
Does that count?
But that's what's in the action. It's like
And then I'm like-
totally different. But so yes, you think I'd learn, but it's always they're great.
I learned
mean,
a
that
lot
scene
from them.
today. I mean, that scene with the two of them. It was beautiful. It was just really beautiful. It was cool.
Any tricks that you've learned?
I don't know. I mean, people always ask, you know, the tricks, but it's more of an emotional thing, you know. And it's, you know, when Abby and her keeper, when they really connect, you know, it's I guess that's more of like an emotional type thing, you know. It's like when you look into another actor's eyes and they give back, you know. It's like, you know, you give them your all in the scene, and when they give back to you their all in the scene, it makes for a really good emotional.
And you put Vicks in your eyes if you have to cry.
No.
Actually, I did that. I was on stage with a guy who did that.
Really?
Once the crying scene was over, he cried for the entire play.
What is Vic?
Vicks vapor rub. When you have a cold, you put it under your nose, or we used to
It's
put it
not
under our
water
tongue,
soluble, so,
and it
yeah.
makes you tear. So they just put a little.
Now they use menthol. I don't like menthol.
No.
I like doing it natural. Which is, I mean, people think it's absolutely
But I
insane.
did it. This
but-
guy, he was crying for 3 acts.
He's like, how are you today? I love you.
Can you talk about working with Cody and establishing that relationship?
Cody is an amazing, amazing actor, and being able to work with a kid opposite me who's, just really, really amazing. Like I said, there's that emotional connection where they give back to you when you give to them, and I guess that always makes for a good relationship in the character and in real life too. Because with every actor, I mean, I guess you could fake a relationship on screen, but it's also, it's a lot more work. But when you actually have an emotional bond in real life and you're really good friends, then everything just kind of flows naturally, and you just let it go.
When was the last time you saw him? Before here? In March and first.
That was before I left for the field and Hugo. So it'd be 5, 6 months, 7 months ago.
When they
8
saw
months
each
ago?
other, they picked up right where they left off, insulting each other, laughing, having fun. Didn't you?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a love-hate relationship. It's like a weird thing. Like I don't even know. He calls me an emo. I call him an emo. He calls me a chav. It's just one big mess.
Calls you a
Oh,
what?
he calls you a chav?
Chav.
Chav?
Chav.
Chav?
C-H-A-V.
What is that?
It's more of a European term, I guess.
It's a British
It's
term.
like, you're chavvy. You're chavvy, man. You're a chav.
Well, okay then. Put it that way.
No, not you.
Explains everything.
It's like a person who wears really baggy pants and he thinks he's really cool, but he's really not cool. And he tries way too hard to be cool. This one. He's a chav. Chevy McKinney.
What was it like working with Matt? Did you guys, have you seen Cloverfield? Do you know anything about it?
I love Cloverfield. I know.
Don't be things to say.
You could,
Act like we love each other.
Richard, I do want to